Now, this was San Francisco in the 1980s, ground zero for the AIDS epidemic. But I never accepted the common thought at the time that AIDS was a death sentence. There were articles that came out in the San Francisco Chronicle saying AIDS is 100% fatal within 2 years. So I started writing a few articles in the local press about how to naturally support the immune system. And I very quickly attracted a very large number of HIV-positive men and women who were not ready to throw in the towel. They were in the prime of their lives, their 20s, their 30s, and they wanted to fight this thing. And even though there weren't any drugs available at the time, they were willing to change their lifestyle to do whatever made sense to support their immune system. Not only was I their naturopath and integrative medicine doctor, I became their primary care doctor. And so at the peak, I had over 250 HIV-positive patients. I was their primary care doctor, and I was also responsible when they went in the hospital for treating their opportunistic infections and becoming skilled at prescribing antiviral drug combinations. And what I experienced was remarkable. The combination of natural therapies and antiviral medications kept the vast majority of my patients completely healthy and stable for decades. And this was completely different from what my colleagues were experiencing, who were only prescribing the drugs. Their patients were still getting infections, still going into the hospital, and interestingly, when they'd put a patient on an antiviral drug combination, it only lasted for a year or two before resistance developed. When I put patients on an antiviral drug combination, it lasted and lasted and lasted. I currently have patients who are on the same antiviral medications that I originally started them on 20 years ago. And that, I believe, is because of naturally supporting immune function helps the combination of the drugs and the immune system keep the virus at bay and helps the drugs work better. So this was my first direct experience with the power of natural medicine. And a significant part of my program was supporting the mitochondria with micronutrients. I clearly saw how an integrative functional approach to treating a complex medical condition could help patients experience noticeably better outcomes. So I wrote about this in my book, Immune Power, and I followed it up a few years later with a book called Healing HIV.